It was August 2021 and a player by the name of Specially logged onto Hypixel, only to realize that he could no longer look behind him. The removal of Freelook was without a doubt one of the most controversial Lunar client updates in history, and Specially, among countless other players, didn't agree with the update. Like many other Bed Wars players at the time, he just couldn't live without it, so he got to work. He began tediously sifting through all of the game files from the updated build of Lunar Client. The idea was that if he was able to pinpoint the exact file that disabled Freelook, he could simply remove it and replace it with the same file from an older build of Lunar Client, theoretically tricking his game into bringing back the Freelook mod and allowing him to use it again. It took him over a day of searching, but he finally found it. Specially quickly replaced the file, opened up his game, and clicked the mod menu, and sure enough, Freelook was back. Shortly after, he would share his discovery and upload a tutorial to his YouTube channel titled How to Get Freelook on Lunar Client. This tutorial would not only get flooded with comments of gratitude and support, but it would also gain over 40,000 views, one of them being from someone named Sios, a fellow Bed Wars player and programmer who would eventually reach out especially on Discord with a game-changing message. You see, while this tutorial was insanely good news for the community, it wasn't by any means a perfect solution to the problem, and it actually contained its fair share of downsides. At the time, the only way to get Freelook back was to be running the game with files from an older version of Lunar Client, meaning that if players still wanted to use Freelook, they would have to sacrifice receiving any potential updates or new mods Lunar might add in the future. Or so we thought, because little did everybody know that Sios had a breakthrough. He claimed to have found a way to edit Lunar Client's code and seamlessly bring back Freelook while simultaneously keeping all of its updated features. The reason he reached out especially is because Sios wanted this to become a project that the two of them worked on together. Specially agreed to join, they got to work, and just a month later, the two of them would become the founders of Solar Tweaks. What initially started as a simple mod fix had evolved into a fully fledged Minecraft client built upon the foundation of Lunar Client and adding a bunch of highly requested features from the community. As you would expect, the client itself looked pretty much exactly like Lunar Client, just with a few minor differences. Even the branding looked almost exactly the same, and the two logos resembling the same shape, except Solar's contained a sunrise instead of the standard Lunar Client moon. Things were rocky at first, with different reported bugs popping up left and right, yet despite these initial problems, the demand for the client continued to rise. Every video that Specially uploaded showcasing Solar Tweaks gained substantial viewership. As time progressed, Specially and Sios remained dedicated to improving the Solar Tweaks client, continuously adding features such as custom themes, commands, and even the ability to access every single Lunar Client cosmetic and emote on the store for completely free. However, their biggest and smartest move yet arrived when they decided to add support for cracked Minecraft accounts. This feature meant that players no longer even needed to own an official Minecraft account to use the client. And considering Minecraft's status as one of the most pirated games in history, with tens of millions of players using cracked Minecraft accounts to play every single day, this move opened the client up to a massive new audience, and it was after this change where word of Solar began to spread like wildfire throughout the Minecraft community, being infamously known as the cracked Lunar Client, and by the end of 2021, Solar Tweaks had tens of thousands of active users. However, this would also prove to be a major turning point for the client, as it was around the same time when Psyche, one of the owners of Lunar Client, reached out to Specially and Sios on Discord. In a series of messages, Psyche expressed his disapproval of Solar Tweaks and ordered the two of them to stop development and shut down the client, even threatening them with legal action if they didn't comply. The exact reasons behind Psyche's reaction remained unclear, but it's assumed that it was because Solar Tweaks had used and modified Lunar Client's code without permission, something that is very openly against Lunar's terms of service. Another theory is that the client may have been inadvertently impacting Lunar Client's profits, even though Solar Tweaks was completely free to download and neither of its original founders had profited a single dollar from it. One of the main features features of the client was that it offered unlimited access to every cosmetic on the Lunar client store, which would theoretically render the purchase of real Lunar cosmetics, which are individually priced between $5 to $15, completely useless. The two of them responded to Psyche by trying to negotiate and reach a compromise. Perhaps if they changed a bit of the branding or removed a certain feature, that Solar Tweaks would be able to continue running. However, Psyche remained stubborn and didn't budge. With the threat of all their hard work and the massive community they had built all of a sudden being forced to shut down, Specially and Sios were left with a difficult decision to make, but eventually they made one. After carefully thinking about it, they decided to just ignore him. Yeah, rather than agree to shut down Solar Tweaks like Psyche had asked them to do, they literally just stopped responding to him and continued developing Solar. In the coming months, they would even double down on using Lunar Client's code and release Solar Tweaks Build 4.0, which, among many other additions, included a brand new custom launcher that once again looked extremely similar to Lunar Client. At this point, it seemed as though Psyche had completely given up on contacting them. Meanwhile, Solar Tweaks started to gain significant traction on YouTube. Smaller content creators within the cracked Minecraft community began to make videos showcasing the client to their audience, with some of them gaining up to 100,000 views each. Going into the current year, the hype behind Solar Tweaks became unstoppable. Update after update released, each one was met with tons of new features and thousands of people ready to download them. However, just as it seemed like everything was falling into place, Psyche had returned. However, this time it wasn't in the form of a Discord message, but rather a legal document. And on May 5th, 2023, the official Solar Tweaks GitHub page would release an unexpected announcement. In this post, they revealed that because of their decision to ignore Psyche's original message and kept developing Solar Tweaks, he had taken legal action against them by issuing a formal cease and desist letter. The letter demanded that the team behind Solar Tweaks were to immediately shut down the client and take away access to it from all of its now 400,000 users. On top of that, the letter also instructed the team to remove any trace of information related to Solar Tweaks from their GitHub page and all other publicly accessible platforms. Considering all of the previous context and events that led up to this announcement, this decision seemed almost inevitable. But to all of the members of the Solar Tweaks community, this announcement was a shocking and disappointing discovery. The sudden deletion of their favorite client led many people to become pretty upset and say things such as, "This is terrible news for the cracked community. Now I can't use Freelook on Hypixel." I was so devastated hearing this, man. However, in my opinion, Lunar Client was well in their right to do so. From their perspective, someone had modified their client with a bunch of questionable features and blatantly broke their terms of service, and after reaching out about it getting taken down, they were completely ghosted and disrespected. So eventually, they took matters into their own hands. Regardless, this was it. This was the end of Solar Tweaks. If you liked the video, then please subscribe.